Hey and welcome to my channel. I'm Mystical Blue and I'm sharing all my skincare tips that I have discovered along the way, because initially when I first started on this journey I had terrible skin and it's still not to the level that I'd like it to be, but it's getting there. As you can see, some of the scars that I have, and that's from certain acne that I've had, so I do have hyperpigmentation. But in terms of keeping the acne at bay, I'm pretty much there. Okay, so what I want to discuss with you today is in regards to types of skin. Now, I don't know if you are aware, but if you're not, I'll let you know. So there are 4 different types of skin, and we mustn't get them mixed up with, you've got skin types and then skin concerns. So acne would be a skin concern, but what I'm not talking about that, we're talking about types of skin. So skin type number 1, I would refer to as normal skin. So it's neither oily, it's neither dry. In fact, you are lucky if you do have one of those skin types. Skin type number 2, I would say you have oily skin. And with oily skin, it's a misconception that you need to use products that will dry out the oil, because the way our skin behaves is if you overly dry out the skin, it's going to produce even more oil. So more on treatments a little later on in regards to that. Skin type number 3 we're on, yeah, you've got combination skin, and this tends to typically mean that around your cheeks you're dry, and then around your forehead and your nose area that tends to be really oily. And then skin type number 4 is dry skin, and that pretty much is kind of dry all around. Now the misconception is that once you find out what skin type you have, that you have that skin type throughout your life. No, this can change, and it can change because of hormones. It can even change because of weather. So for example, during winter time, your skin can get very dry. Summertime, it can get really oily, or it could be environmental in terms of you could be in a hot country, let's say, so you think oily skin. But if you're constantly in an area or a building that has air conditioning, that's going to dry out your skin. Now you might be like, okay, well if that's the case, that's great knowing all the skin types, but how do I determine what my skin type is? And I have such an easy way to determine what the skin type is, and it is literally just this. So you will wash your face with whatever cleanser that you use. I would go for like a delicate cleanser. It doesn't need to be anything that's, drying or anything. It's a normal cleanser. I tend to like to use CeraVe cleansers. I find they really work for my skin. So you'll cleanse your skin, wash it off, dry it. Do not put any serums or any creams. Don't do anything. Leave your face to sort of, I'm going to say dry. I mean, you've patted it dry, but leave your face. Don't apply any creams or serums or anything like that for at least say 30 minutes to an hour, and then come back and inspect your skin. Once you've inspected your skin, this will kind of give you an idea of what type of skin you have. So if you've washed your face and dried it and waited the 30 minutes to an hour and nothing happens, congratulations you're very lucky. You have normal skin. If after the 30 minutes to an hour you find that around your cheeks it's quite tight, but round here and here you find that it's really oily, especially to touch, like you might wipe there and you get like a little oil on your nose, on your finger even. You wipe your nose and you get a little bit of oil on your finger, then that means you have combination skin. If you find that all of your facial area feels dry, it feels tight, then that's dry skin. And if you find that there's parts of your face that's dry, I'm on the right path, then I'm sure I've mentioned combination skin, but I'll mention it again anyway. So if you find parts of your face are dry and this part here is oily, then that's combination skin. However, you find the whole of your face is oily, then of course that means you have oily skin. So that's one way to find out what type of skin you have. And like I said, it's not, because sometimes I think we get confused in regards to, well, if I have oily skin, that means that I'm more prone to acne. No, people with dry skin can also have acne. That's a skin concern, not a skin type. So again, normal skin, dry skin, oily skin, and combination skin. Once you've identified what type of skin type you have, then this kind of will help you to kind of find the products that are going to work with you. So for me at the moment, I think probably because with winter, like when I first was on my skin care journey, I found that my skin was combination. But of late, I find that it's quite dry. So although this is like I would say this is kind of, what it says for dry, rough, bumpy skin. which I do have some of that. But I tend to, this one I would say is my like real go-to. And this is the, as you can see there, it says for normal to dry skin. I also find that if I use a cleanser that's sort of foamy, that tends to dry out my skin even more. I mean, as I always say, because I'm no dermatologist, not everything in skincare is set in stone. Everybody's skin behaves differently. But that's a little tip for you to, you know, if you want to find out what type of skin you have, that's certainly a tip that you can use to discover what type of skin you have. And then we'll talk about, I mean, I'm mainly going to talk about products that I use for my skin, which at the moment currently is dry. And one of my skin concerns, which I'll talk about later in terms of skin concerns, is the hyperpigmentation. So make sure you keep tuned.